Sure. So what we did in this study is we looked at a cohort of patients with laboratory-confirmed influenza, and we then looked at the risk of heart attacks within 7 days of influenza infection, which is recommended for children. And so even if you had one type of influenza, it's still recommended to get the flu shot because you're going to be protected.
Decades. It's now slated to house Apple's European headquarters and luxury apartments. That's a big leap for Nine Elms, which was once famous as London's wholesale market for fruit and vegetables. Today, it's dotted with cranes. Scobie's a big fan of President Trump and his blunt style, but he thinks his assessment of this area is off base.
If he gave me the opportunity, I'm sure I'd be able to sell him a couple of penthouses down here, and I'm surprised he
Experience them in a completely new soundscape. 7:30 Wednesday, February 14th at the University of Michigan's Rackham Auditorium. Tickets and information at ums.org or 734-76.
I'll tell you a story, Chris. My wonderful son, Luke, went off to Baltimore this summer. He chased a girl to Johns Hopkins where she was doing an internship. And he went off pounding the pavement in Baltimore till at last his feet led him to an artisanal hipster restaurant. And he talked his way into a job as a bartender. So he spent his summer as a bartender.
How bad a period 30 years ago the Soviet Union was beginning its collapse, the wall was about to fall. We thought we were in the great advance of liberal democracy. It's pretty much been downhill ever since. And so that to me is the major trend, the collapse of what we thought was an advance of liberal democracy, a move to the center, and we're all going to have free democracies.
The results over the phone, the DNA did not match. You know, as far as she was concerned, it was a paternity test. She had no idea the impact of what she was saying to me. It was a shock to me.
And then the third major issue has to do with access. So people might be interested or generally accepting of vaccines, but it doesn't take priority over other things that they might have to do in their lives that take up time as well. And so they for whatever reason, just can't get into a clinic or a doctor's office to get.
What would Magufuli do? It's used by Tanzanians to praise and to mock his money-saving ways. Well, 2 years later, critics say that along with his anti-corruption crusade, Magufuli has moved Tanzania toward authoritarianism. NPR's ʰᵃᵗᵉ reports.
Last year's bridge inauguration begins as a happy affair. President John Magufuli cuts a ribbon and smiles. He then tells the crowd that this beautiful bridge
on U.S. sorghum exports. Kansas is the country's top sorghum producer. Susan Davis, NPR News, the capital.
The tariff threat also weighed on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 420 points to 24,608. The Nasdaq fell 92 points today. A Republican senator is calling on the administration to back proposed legislation that would restrict gun.
He locked his wife inside. He nailed the house shut. Covered the windows with squares of cardboard. Glued and then duct taped from the outside.
First, this news.
Live from NPR News in Culver City, California, I'm Dwayne Brown. The Trump administration is considering a plan to block states from policing the trillion-dollar federal student loan industry. NPR's Chris Arnold has the story.
Regulators are uncovering abuses by companies that manage student loans, teachers who should have qualified for loan forgiveness.
If I was strong, I'd keep you close and render you defenseless. If I was gone, I'd hope you'd take my place. You've got me feeling like an animal. Me down and feeling paralyzed. You've got me feeling like I have no other hand to hold.
We were evacuated, but the fires didn't end up coming over a ridge that it would have had to come over to come into Roanoke Park.
Ruiz says insurance companies want to insure homeowners, but there's a reason that they're dropping certain policies.
Because they spread their risk or manage their risk in particular areas.
An insurance company doesn't want more risk than they can potentially pay out. Insurance claims for the Northern California wildfires alone have already topped $9 billion. Dave Jones, the insurance commissioner, is pressing lawmakers to make it harder for insurance companies to drop homeowners.